Of living with ease. So we're jumping in with a new round. Very excited for spring,
Okay.
summer round. Um, so here we go. Checking in. I think we've all sort of said hi here. We'll just jump in with our breath work. So perhaps doing any gentle movements that feel right. Live well 108. Why? We are practicing habits that align our bodies with nature's harmony. So we're not necessarily creating something new, but we're aligning with what is. And these habits, as we practice them, become our strong foundation from where we get to live with vitality and ease. That's why we're here. And what are we here doing? Big, bold, you're going to see this a lot, is dinacharya. This word dinacharya is our Sanskrit word for the Ayurvedic medicine that is our daily rhythm. So, thousands of years old, tried and tested, proven results that if we align with the natural rhythms of the day, the energies that exist, that we can balance our body naturally from the inside out. And these cycles exist beyond just daily cycles, they are also seasonal cycles and they promote our health and well being. So we combine these daily habits and we break them down with habit evolution. So, habit evolution techniques are written about a lot nowadays. There's a lot of books about them out there. And I think it's a really critical pillar in being able to apply these new habits into our life. And one of the main ones is that we meet as a group because we learn faster as a group. There's accountability. We get to share knowledge in a way that is, well, we grow faster as a group. And another key point for our habit evolution is that we aim for a B minus. So this is just gentle, gentle evolution, not an all or nothing approach. And ultimately, one of the reasons why we want to do this is because I like to say when it all goes to hell or when shit hits the fan, we will rely on our baseline habits, those things that we don't necessarily have to think about. So, the more that we can practice raising those up and making them really strong for us, making them second nature, the stronger our baseline is going to be. And combining this with premium nutrition, which is just something that I personally found really transformed my journey. I don't mention it a lot in our calls here, but I do have a gift code for that if you would like to use it. And we will touch on a little bit of it at the end. So, combining these three is what makes this Live Well call, I think, really unique. And I did forget to put a little clip on there, but I do want to say that the daily habits, these 10 daily habits, were taken from Kate Stillman's book. Um, and they were passed on to me from my yoga teacher, Jeff, a few years ago. So that's where that has come from. So, introduction. Since we're starting 10 habits again, new season, new approach, let's just do a little bit introduction again, just to refresh. Um, what is a dosha calendar, and what season are we in now? So, doshas, there are three, and these are energies that we can use to apply to ourselves, to the energy of the day, to the seasons, etc. So, these elements you can see combine the three different doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha. And I welcome you at this time of year to do a dosha quiz if you haven't done one already. So that's with the link Banyan Botanicals. I really like theirs. You do have to sign up. But now is a good time to do a dosha quiz and be able to take a look at what might need some balancing. And click, click. So the dosha calendar is again, I really love the time of year of the Vancouver. We're just getting out of that spring season and going into summer. And if you remember on the last slide, pitta is the combination of fire and water. And when I was first learning about this, I found that kind of difficult to understand. I couldn't really see how that combination came together. But if you look around in those late spring days, we're inundated with a lot of water. So if you're in those snowy places, things are melting like crazy. There's often a lot of more rain, wind, cold rain. And then the days get that really hot heat. So there's those mornings where you'll see like dew on the grass. It's going to be wet in some places, freezing cold, and then really, really hot in the sun. So now is a really good time, at least where we are, to acknowledge or to notice how that one of the aspects of that pitta that sort of explains the water fire element that we've got. So that's the season. Oh, I guess I hit the next slide, but that's the season that we're heading into now, just to keep that in mind. Okay, so starting here with habit number one, eat a big lunch. Why do we want, or what are we doing? I should say, sorry. We want to eat our last meal by 6 or 7 p.m., or at least 3 hours before bed. We want to choose soups or salads, more greens or more vegetables, less heavy things, less meat, dairy, and practice closing your kitchen after dinner. Why are we doing this? Because dinner is the supplemental meal, not the main event. And if we can align to that, we're going to wake up feeling much lighter, more energized, and it gives our body a much easier job with d- definitely fewer aches and pains than going to bed with a full belly. So how are we going to do that? We're going to eat a big lunch, including your protein and fat, and wind your dinner back about 15 minutes a day until you're eating around 6 o'clock. Close your kitchen, brush your teeth, and floss, and that's the day. So here's our rhythm of the day. We wake up and eliminate. That's sort of, you have to include that in the cycle because that's the full cycle. So we're eliminating, then we're going to break our fast with whole nourishing foods. And then when the sun is way above us in the sky, we're going to eat our biggest meal. And then it's going to be a lighter dinner, something either leftovers from lunch, or we're going to add a soup or a salad. And then we're going to fast. We're going to close the kitchen. We're going to get ready for the cleaners that are going to be coming through the night while we're getting that fasting time in. Okay. So you want to envision a sequence for your day, depending on where you're at. Um, that's going to include that lighter dinner plan. So planning it out is going to be, I do mention that a few times about making a plan because I found that that's really the only way to make those changes. If we're just sort of catch as catch can and we're going around, the world isn't exactly designed optimally for us to make good decisions, to put it kindly. When we are out of sequence, when we are not in that rhythm, we are not allowing our consciousness and energy to flow optimally. Even for eating nutrient-rich food at the wrong time of day, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be able to absorb that nutrients, and it might not be actually working for us in the best way. So we want to allow our body to fast in between dinner and breakfast for sure on a regular basis. This is one of the best ways that we can empty the garbage can regularly without needing a deep clean or having a buildup of toxicity, I guess. Agni, ama. So why do we want to eat with the sun? One of the biggest reasons why we know that as humans, it's really important for us to eat with the sun is because our eyes can see bright colors. Unlike nocturnal animals that have different advanced advanced eyesight, ours allows us to see a huge variety of colors, specifically green. So it means that we're supposed to be eating during the day. Our bile and digestive fire is also optimal between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., as you know from our little calendar there. So, eating heavy meals outside of that time makes our digestion more difficult, and it makes it harder for us to rest and relax when our body has to be taking care of that. One of the reasons that we changed into eating very large meals in the evening was because we started working outside of the home. So when our lifestyles turned from factory, sorry, into factory from farming, we changed so much, and it became the together time, the family time became the evening, the dinner, and that's where big dinners came from. During the farming practice, it would be more common to have a very big lunch and then have a pot of soup or something left over in the evening, because people were working also by the daylight, so they weren't going to be staying up late with heavy meals. So goes back actually beyond just Ayurveda. This is something we've seen, I think, even just with human evolution. One of the main aspects of our life, of our, excuse me, one of the main um, effects of our health is our inner fire, our Agni, as they call it. Ama is the Sanskrit word for undigested food, and it's going to lead overall with sluggishness, build up within our body. And if we eat heavy dinners on a regular basis, that's how we build that up. And every time we do that, we're essentially dampening our inner fire. So you're going to want to approach this by tweaking dinner. Having a big lunch is obviously the main focus. Once that can be accomplished, tweaking dinner. It really doesn't matter which one you start with. I prefer to start with having a big lunch and having a plan for what dinner was so I didn't have to think about it. But some people like to start with the dinner, so it's up to you. But essentially, you want to have a lot of water content, something really light. Um, I find just putting a few recipes together, having things on hand that I know are really simple and easy, has actually freed up a lot of time for me in the evenings. So because I'm not worried about cooking too much, and the cleanup and the digestion involved. It's actually changed a lot in the daily routine. Some tips I put on there: just having a smaller plate for dinner, keeping things simple, make a plan, try a meal planner. I Essentially, it's going to be your own track with this. For some people, having just the 2 meals a day, or sorry, just having the big lunch isn't going to work. Some people do need to have an earlier meal and then a 4 p.m. meal instead. Sorry, I'm switching that. I think I needed a glass of water, but I can do it. Okay. Um, if 3 meals is too much, you can do 2 meals, so 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. But some people also need to add in more, like 8 a.m. might be a starting point for somebody. That's why it's really important to get your dosha chart. Night work was something that I did have to experience with this when I was going through this, learning these habits. But night work is really going to conflict with all of your daily rhythms. So, yeah, I don't think any of us are doing that. But you're going to know that you're on track when you're waking up feeling light, energized, and after dinner, you have a desire to move. So, like I said, this habit really transformed a lot for me in how my evenings were spent. So rather than having long, drawn out, really wonderful meals, I mean, I must say, it transformed into a much more active time where I was actually able to get a few chores done, pack a lunch for tomorrow, go for a walk, take the dogs out. So it's much more than just having a big lunch. Okay, few tips. Keep your dinner to a one pot meal using a meal planner. Find a few recipes, have them on repeat. Yes, have those things in the pantry. Always, we're going to be aiming to eat locally in season and in seasonal in abundance. We want to prep dinner. We can prep dinner when we prep breakfast. So, getting a few things ready ahead of time to make that easier. It's also one cleanup as opposed to having to do two or three. Baking some root vegetables in the morning, for example, using a slow cooker, planning ahead, or perhaps just doing a few minutes of deep breathing before you go into your kitchen. Okay, I just threw out some meal ideas of things that I've been doing lately. Burritos, love bean burritos. Some rice paper. I've been taking rice paper wraps, rolling them up, and then frying them. That's been really awesome. Simple dressings on really fresh bitter lettuces that are coming out right now. A lot of bitters. Now is a really good time for that. So just the simple lemon, olive oil, honey, mustard, and salt. Amazing, amazing. And then this acai or acai, everyone's calling it. I don't know. I say acai, but that berry bowl, I've been having those lately, and wow, I didn't understand. Everyone was talking about these for years. I know I've seen them around for years, and I've only tried it now for the first time. Like they're amazing. It's like blueberries, but like a sorbet, and it's like a smoothie bowl for dinner. I love it. Soups, obviously, miso soups are so easy to have on hand to just like scoop a bit of miso, green onions, or anything green. Cut up some tofu. Like there you are. Don't boil the miso. And then obviously any soups, pasta dishes. I've been baking those in the oven. They're amazing. Again, you get sort of like two meals out of that. And then, of course, the core four, that's on the bottom right here. That's just something I keep around all the time because it just is my baseline. I never have to go without nutrition with that around. So, closing your kitchen. So, just on that, we want to think about starting tomorrow fresh instead of yesterday's mess. It's a really great practice to get into. I'm going to be honest, it's not happening for me 100% of the time, but I go through waves when it is. And one of the things is I find that I actually like doing dishes in the morning. I find it really relaxing as a way to start the day. It might just be because I love water so much, but I don't mind. So, but it is sure nice to walk into a fresh kitchen any time of day. So if we can close it, or if snacking is a temptation, then I do strongly recommend close that kitchen, put all the dishes away. If you could even put those dishes away, wipe the sink out like with a tea towel. It makes it so polished and fresh. It feels like you just like got to a new Airbnb or something. Fill food containers for tomorrow so that you've got a little bit of a plan. And then if you really want to seal the deal, brush your teeth and you know you're set for the next day. So, our habit evolution technique this week is identity evolution. So, when we are evolving our identity is going to naturally evolve when we change our habits, and our current identity is a current result of our current habits. So, if you want to evolve your identity, um, as we're doing when we change our habits, envisioning what that is can be a really helpful technique. So, for this week, it is I'm becoming the type of person who. So, just thinking for this season, for example, we're going to be doing it'll be about 3 months. and we go through it. It'll take us till about July. I am becoming the type of person who question mark. That's one timeline. You can be as specific as you would like, but it's as we're hitting like that New Year vibe. It's a really good time to set that up. So be specific and measurable. Yeah, be specific and make something measurable. If you want to write it down somewhere, I always find it fun to look back on those things and really see how far I've come. Also, reality check. Are you sure that you want this? What would you have to I wouldn't say it's give up comes to mind, but what's being exchanged for this identity evolution? Because sometimes we subconsciously aren't fully on board, even though we think sometimes we have ideas of how we would like things to be, we're not fully on board. Like I would say, for example, in this habit, I wasn't fully on board because I really enjoyed dinners with friends and the social aspect. And I was like I'm kind of working against myself because I didn't want to miss out on that. And I had one of the ways that I found peace in doing that was that I just told them what I was doing. It's like I ate a big lunch. I'm not hungry, but I still want to see you. We can visit, and yeah, I'll have a tea or I'll have a small bit or whatever. Like there was a workaround. It wasn't a big deal. And there were times that maybe I would join, just have a small portion, or if I was invited out, sometimes I would just say, "Thank you. Would you mind? I'd love to try this, and I really do want to join with you. But would you mind if I pack it for my lunch tomorrow?" And it was always like, "Yay!" Like bonus round. So just something to think about for this season. And then, of course, touching on this, the core four. Uh, this is something that's been in my life for a number of years here. It's like I said, it's a baseline nutrition. It's got the we've got protein with the aminos. The power shake is vitamins and minerals, gut health in the biomedic, and then sleep help and antioxidants in the apothecary. So for me now, it's not a regimented thing. It's just my sort of home apothecary. I keep it around. It keeps my baseline steady Eddie, and I really don't have to think about nutrition anymore. So, just recapping eating a big lunch. It's really quite simple. Like like Paige is exemplifying perfectly. Eat when the sun is above your head, ideally between 10 and 2 p.m. for your biggest meal. Make a plan, try it out, tweak it. Make a plan, try again, tweak it. And I guess you didn't get the recording last week. I did introduce this lovely picture, which I think I might keep going because to me it just exemplifies the vibe of peace and living well. And this is a tree. This is a little bonsai. It's known as the Fairy Creek bonsai, and it's a little. I think it's a Douglas fir that's growing off of a stump in a lake and Fairy Creek, and that's it. I drove past it and was like, the definition of breakneck, like, like what? Are you kidding me? Just the peace that it radiates. And if you're familiar with the Fairy Creek um, stuff, it's really touchy. Uh, they're doing major logging there and exporting the oldest trees, which to me, the trees speak the wisdom of like all we need to know. So it's heartbreaking, but we can use this as inspiration for our own growth. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, stay in touch. So here you can see I'm still working on my Canva skills, but I have started a Substack if you'd like to sign up for that, where the invites, I'll send out the invites through there. So it's just like one nice little spot. maybe include the recordings on that as well. So that's something that can just be like in a hub. And then, of course, there's my email. And next week's habit would be habit number 2. So, following this, if we can set ourselves up for success with a big lunch, then we are already well on our way to habit number 2 of going to bed early. Why that's important. And we'll go over what an anchor statement is, and I'll introduce Bio Relax, one of my favorites for going to bed early. That is it, guys. So, any questions, comments? How is how's Habit One sounding?
I really liked, the slides.
Oh yeah. Good.
Very nice. I feel like I like every time I've seen us go through the weeks, you're always adding more stuff. So I'm always like have extra things to like add to my notes and stuff, or maybe
Oh,
things
good.
last time. So I'm loving it. Thank
Yay! Thanks, babe. Thank you so much.
That's super, super valuable. Thank you so much for sharing this. Like
Yay!
these are ideas that like I'm quite familiar with, of course, but it's really great to like have them all in one place. And like the presentation that you just gave was so, so good and so valuable and kind of made some things like reframe some things for me of like, oh, that actually is so accessible, or why can't you do that? Like
Yay!
you, yeah. So yeah,
Yay!
thank you so much.
Amazing. That's my whole it's like well, we'll go over Kaizen in this, but, like, it's about making it approachable, easy, like, Jeff used to say, my yoga teacher would say, "Set the bar so low that you trip." It's
Love
like, that's
that.
how you get momentum and where it feels good, where you're like, "Oh my god, I'm actually already doing it," like, that kind of easy yeah, that's what we're aiming for, so awesome. Awesome.